Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Lab, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? Well, I want to balance out all that bad news out there with some good news, because every single forking headline these days is going to either make you angry, sad, or afraid. Those are the down three that I want to up your happiness factor and not start your day in a state of piss-offedness. Instead, I want you to feel good. That is my primary purpose in my life. And I know that when I feel good, everything else, it's like Thor, gets attracted to me, all good things to make me feel even better. That's how I live my life. And this is my show. So I have topics and guests and co-hosts that help me with that. Although today's topics may cause me to down my happiness factor, but we'll see. You know her on Wednesdays. She is a fabulous inside and out multi-hyphenate like myself. She's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California, playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, and more. She's a great poster child of someone who's pivoted, couldn't practice because of an accident, but has done way more now. She has many children's books now. I have to update the bio because there was only a few then. But I love the way that she takes her education now to both books and platforms, as you'll hear during the break, the newest thing that she's doing. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Hello, and happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy, joy.
Fabulous. We're going to start with breakfast, the way done for many years now, where we take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun, things that we're grateful for when we look around us, and bottom of the bun, what we do when we look inside of ourselves. Appreciation is the other way to say it. And that way you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. So, Dr. Tiffanie, what are you grateful for outside of yourself?
I am grateful that I can be spontaneous. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily like to go with the flow. And I am a person who actually loves to go with the flow, because people will say, "Hey, Tiff, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I have X, Y, and Z planned." And they're like, "Well, what about this?" And I'm like, "That sounds fun. Count me in." And I am a person who loves to go with the flow. And I love that about myself.
Cool. You just went to the bottom of the bun. So I will balance your bottom with the top of what you're grateful for outside of yourself. She's raring to go for the topic, I can tell. Top of the bun is things outside of yourself. So I will say toilet paper is a thing that I'm grateful for. Not just COVID made us really appreciate toilet paper, but I am serious about there's some countries where you drip dry or shake it. And the comforts that we have in this country, I am truly grateful for. And I don't even, I don't take them for granted, being that I traveled a lot before the blood clots, and know that we are very fortunate in this country to have the creature comforts that we do. Never understood where that came from. I have to look that up. Creature comforts. It sounds like a bear in the woods. But anyways,
Oh, okay.
what are you grateful for outside of yourself?
So this weekend was a very busy weekend. I had a chance to travel to San Diego to attend my sorority cluster, and it was a fabulous time. And we had a chance to come together and appreciate everything that we have done regionally and within the state of California. And just it was a good time to be had. And I love spending time with my sorority sisters, because once you become a member, you are essentially a member for life. And I am a life member, and I love the sisterhood. I love the service, and it was just a great experience.
Awesome. And I'm grateful for Mom T, who is in the chat, my cashew gallery. She's the captain today. And she did win my Asian Oprah giveaways to Catalina Island Jazz Tracks Festival. I hope she enjoyed herself. I did hear from Vanilla. She sent me, I think it was Eric Darius. Then People Bryson was the day that they got free Asian Oprah giveaway tickets to the Catalina Jazz Festival. So grateful that every year there's so many jazz music opportunities, which is my favorite music that I can enjoy. I actually got to see Pancho Sanchez, and we're organizing him coming on the show. But I am so grateful to be able to go to live events and to really enjoy music, which is one of the best sounds in life, in addition to laughter. What else are you grateful for? One more thing.
I had the opportunity to speak at one of the local churches as a candidate for Congress, and it was so rewarding because the pastor invited me up to address the congregation. And it just made me thankful, because this is another platform to address people, because not being able to practice medicine did allow me to pivot and effectively change the world in a different way, because delivering babies was absolutely fabulous. But now that I am running for Congress, it allows me to effectively be a positive change in the world, because that's what we need right now. Someone who is going to be positive, and that's all we need: more positivity, more love, and just more spirituality.
Awesome. And welcome to Jerry. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm grateful that you're here as well. I am grateful that tonight is the big night at the Newport Beach Film Festival. It's my night as one of the sponsors of the Chinese Hong Kong Spotlight Film. As you can see, I have my
Ooh,
traditional chi pao on, because it's going to
is
be a
that a
long day.
dragon?
It is a dragon.
Ooh, I love it.
I sort of wore it on purpose for the topics of today too, because Dr. Tiffany wants to talk about two C words that I don't like. And but it's tonight. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, the Asian Oprah giveaway tickets have been gone. But if you use the promo code Hong Kong 2025, you'll get a discount. Please join me on the red carpet tonight, as well as the after party, the Pacific Rim. Fabulous, wonderful party. This is my one of my favorite things every year that I get to do. So please do join me in that. And then I am grateful finally for, see if I can bring it up real quick, I get to speak this weekend. If you're anywhere near Burbank, California, I'm going to be speaking at the Burbank Unity. Let's see. Here we go. If you can see that, the Unity Burbank Center for Spiritual Awareness. And I have a talk about healthy, wealthy, and happy, and book signing right after. So if you're in Burbank on Sunday, come and join me there. And then tonight on the red carpet for the Newport Beach Film Festival Chinese Spotlight film. All right, so let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is what do you like about yourself? Dr. Tiffanie already gave us one. Let's have another one.
Um, I like the fact that I actually have a genuine concern for other people's feelings. And I think right now we have to have that because if you don't have a genuine concern for other people's feelings, you can easily offend people. And we have to be cautious as to how we do different things and how we move in different spaces. And I'll give you an example. Um, I was actually at church, and I'll save it for when we introduce the
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah, good idea. Because
Yeah.
this is supposed to be a short breakfast.
Yeah,
What do you like about yourself? Thank you very much to the Cashew Gallery. You're very active this morning. We love it. Hello to, I think, a new joiner, Adahar Ali Chowdhury. Happy to have you in the Cashew Gallery. If you want to put in your gratitudes and appreciation for yourself, the bottom of the bun is something we're actually modeling for you. I want you to do it before you go to bed tonight, where you think instead of beating yourself up and what didn't I finish and why did I say that, instead you're going to think about something that you like about yourself. And I believe this is my BS, my belief system, that self-care, self-love, self-approval, and self-soothing all are the foundation to good mental health. It's something we can do ourselves before we reach for things outside like medication. So this is why we do this good life habit. I appreciate my ability to continue to be a poster child for hope and happiness, and be real about things like the blood clots that were temporarily not happy making, but I got through the pain and have popped out into power. So that is the process that I believe is important for all of us so that we can be happy 88% of the time in life. So thanks for joining us for breakfast. And I promise, if you make this a good life habit, #Blissapline, and do this every day, 21 days for a good habit or 28 or 30, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Where is it? Oh, they moved it. Let's see if there's a new one. Oh, there you go. What's the topic of the day?
The 3 C's of modern life: compromise, convenience, and commitment.
And you'll get an Asian Oprah giveaway if you can guess which 2 of those C's I do not have. So write it in the chat. And I'll give you a free audiobook copy of my national bestseller and #1 Amazon 8 Ways to Happiness. If you can guess out of those 3 C's, which 2 I'm not a big fan of. All right, Dr. Tiffanie, why are we talking about this?
Well, we started addressing one of the C's last week, and I wanted to expand upon it. And over the course from last week to this week, it was just reconfirmed and reiterated on different interactions. And I was at an event, I was there with another candidate, and the way she moved was actually somewhat entertaining to me. I'm a physician and I'm a professional, and I'm used to dealing with lots of different personalities. And so I'm like, we're both candidates. I want to win, but if I win, great. If I don't win, I will be okay because I believe it's about the people, and that's how I look at things. But I believe it's about being committed to the cause, not necessarily to any any person per se. And so it was very interesting about those dynamics. But then when I was I thought that I needed to make certain compromises and concessions for her convenience, because when I would talk to certain people, she would run up right behind me. Uh, so I was like, that's interesting. And then when I was at church, a couple had just been married and they had two different ideologies. And I had to talk to them about compromise and remind them that they had made a commitment to one another. And it's okay to disagree. And I had to remind them that remember to kiss and hug and remember that you love each other. So it's okay to have different political ideologies because it's all about the fact that you love each other. So I was like, okay, this just fits completely into this topic.
So the C word that we talked about last week, remind us of
It
those,
was
please.
commitment.
Okay, commitment. Okay. Yeah, I don't have that word, and I didn't see any.
Compromise.
So Dr. Tiffany wins. Yeah, those are the two words that I am not at all. I don't have the P word. You all know that. That's patience. Last time I prayed for patience, I got teenagers, so that's not in there. And then what was that? No, commitment and compromise. I think compromise is just like, bleh. But I am obviously, been single a long time. I want to do what I want, how I want. And not surprisingly, I'm still single. And also the worst part of the blood clots was I thought I was going to have to give up that identity. So we're learning that I can still be like that with a blood clot. And work 18 hours a day on the ground instead of in the air. But all right. So I love it when Dr. Tiffany gives like a personal reason for why she chooses the topics that she does. We'd love for you to personalize these 3 C's in your own life. And we're going to spend the rest of the show talking about how the ups and downs, the goods, the bads, the working, not working parts of these 3 words. And we love it when you give us your 8 cents worth. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Tiffany, I know you've done some research around it.
I
Definitely.
have. And so basically, just so as people try to reflect on it, I want them to think about in a world where we're always connected, always busy, and constantly choosing, how do we balance between what's easy, what's fair, and what we're truly dedicated to? Because when we compromise, we're making trade-offs. And convenience is choosing what's easy. And when we're committed, we're staying the course. So, as you think about this, reflect on your relationships, careers, self growth, and expectations, because these are 3 powerful words. So, as you decide on what and how it applies to your life, for a cashew gallery, if you want to put it in the chat, for those who are driving along, just think about how it affects your life, your decision making, and your broader philosophies. But statistically, when I looked it up, it says no single percentage of Americans who compromise in relationships. But there was one study, it found that 64%, that's a high percentage. There are 64% of Americans who are actively working on how to compromise. So they don't necessarily know, but they're trying to figure it out. So that's a high proportion of us who are trying to work this thing out, because it's something that is essential to relationships.
There's a siren. That means whatever's being talked about is true. So, unfortunately, what Dr. Tiffany just said is true. Unfortunately for me. But, and I will say this, if I see commitment not in a relationship, I am totally on board. So I'm committed to my happy 88 mission, which is 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, and I can absolutely embrace that word commitment because I'm committed to that mission. So no matter what the setback is, like the blood clots that took me off the tour where I was bringing my mission to Ireland and Africa and Shanghai and Hawaii and Taipei. I know that I'm committed to that the mission. It doesn't necessarily have to be overseas. As you saw, I did a book signing at a jewelry store, J&L Jewelers. I am doing this Sunday one at Burbank. Unity Burbank Center for Spiritual Awareness. I'm doing, I'm always book signing when people will bring their books. When they see me, they know if I'm going to be at the red carpet. I did a book signing when I was at the press conference this week for the Asian pageant, Beauty Inside and Out. So I'm I'm committed to that activity or my mission, no matter where I am. So I'll buy into that commitment in a relationship where you till death do you part, which I think is morbid in the first place. Like, come on, that's a little tougher because people change, and the likelihood that you're gonna gel with someone is not easy, especially when you are #ageless older. And two, in life, you change. What are the chances that you change at the same rate in the same direction when you're married? And to be bound till death do you part when you completely change and you make each other miserable, that kind of commitment I cannot stand behind.
Absolutely. I understand that. I have a different view, as Dr. Marissa and I frequently do not agree.
Frequently? When did we go to frequently? Yeah, where's my really?
Really?
I thought it was
Right.
some of the time. When did we move to frequently?
Well, okay, yeah, some of the time. Well, this is one of those times.
Okay.
And so when I look at compromise, I believe that compromise is a mutual agreement. And each party gives up something to reach a resolution. And the core idea is that there's a balance. And it means adjusting your wants or needs for the greater good of harmony, whether that is at work, whether that is in your friendship, and whether that is in a relationship. So the potential risk is that too much compromise leads to resentment and imbalance. So, say if one person is always compromising for another person, you lose your autonomy and you're dissatisfied. So one person is out there doing their own thing and completely happy while you are completely miserable. So there has to be balance, because if you are compromising yourself, your own values, and that other person is completely happy, where is the balance? And Dr. Marissa always does this thing. And so a relationship may not be completely 50-50, but you still need to kind of come at least, 60-40, but it can't be like, somebody's given 90 and the other person is given 10%. And I think that that's important. When it comes to convenience, I think you have somebody who's choosing what's easy, what's most accessible. And when you look at that as far as relationships, they're putting in the least or minimal effort. And when it comes to friendships, that's the same thing. You have someone who's always doing the calling, always putting in the effort, always planning the dates, always paying, always putting forth the energy. You want some balance to it because it takes two. The same thing in a relationship. And I think sometimes people get confused between what is a friendship, what is an acquaintance, what is a relationship. What do you say, Dr. Marissa?
Well, you know, I think that if if it's the same person that is always doing the compromising, then that is imbalance. And I'm all about balance. And so, yeah, and I love that you do this because this is something that I really live by. And I'm really grateful that my kids do this, right? Whenever they meet a guy, and they want to see if it's going to work or not, I just say, watch in the first 6 months. The first 3 months, don't tell you anything because my pregnancy model of relationships is the first 3 months, everybody is like on their best behavior. It's the second trimester that you look at, are you doing this? Oh, sorry. Are they doing this and you're doing this? This is compromise, over compromise. This halfway, and you can't always go halfway. Sometimes one person does 60, the other one does 40. But is that are you enabling by doing all the compromise is what the question is. And there's a siren to tell you that is very important to consider.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one.
Mm-hmm. That was a doozy.
So what do you think about that?
I completely agree. And I think when it comes to relationships, we often get confused thinking that a commitment is commitment when it's really convenience. And if you mistake a commitment for convenience, your heart gets broken because you are going all in for a mistaken relationship because they're not prioritizing you when you are in fact prioritizing them, and they are putting everything else before you when in reality you are not a priority. You know you're not a priority because they put you last and they put everything and everyone else before you. And then by the time you realize it, you've put your heart into something where it should not have been from the beginning.
It does bring up for me a really great tool that a couple who used to come to when I was doing balanced Tai Chi Gong lessons, which is a moving meditation that promotes inner peace one breath at a time, also known as Chinese yoga. I created it when my hips that don't lie, I had 2 hip replacements, so I can't do traditional yoga. And so they would come to class, and it was very apparent that the wife, really got into it, really loved it. And the husband was, he was trying, right? But after class one day, I said, I can tell that you really enjoy it. Your husband really doesn't, but he still comes. And she goes, yes, we have this commitment, right? And their organized compromise is this. So they get points, right? So anytime one does something that they really don't want to do, but because their partner really wants to do it, they get points, like bonus points. And then they can use those points when they want something that the partner doesn't necessarily want to do, which I thought was brilliant because you're not going to meet someone who shares every single passion that you have. However, I do, after swipe or no swiping and dating for as over a year now in this, I call it the extreme sport of dating in HD, which doesn't stand for high definition, but stands for hope, disappointment. I have learned that that activity or that way of looking at compromise is so cool. But you definitely have to have at least one activity in common. Otherwise, it's a mess, man.
Mhm.
If you can't enjoy anything together except the bed, I mean, that's fine, but you're not going to spend all day and all night in bed. I mean,
Right.
maybe in the first 3 months again, but you got to go to work. So there you
Mhm. Absolutely. I think it is critical to spend time together. And if you don't have any time together or communication or emotional support, then what is it that you have? Because friends talk. And if you're not spending time with your friend or you're not spending time with your partner, I think that is a definite red flag or at least a yellow one. Proceed with caution.
go. Yeah. And I'm listening. I'm just posting our story. I always forget to do that before the show. So that's what I'm doing. If you're wondering, I'm not trying to tick off Dr. Tiffany.
Oh,
I am
it's okay.
listening. I am listening.
Yes. And so when we look at commitment, commitment is really a pledge. It's a dedication to a person, a cause, or a course of action. It is about loyalty. It is about perseverance. And it shows up. It shows up in relationships. It shows up in marriages, careers. People do it to fitness, to personal growth. And I think it is imperative and it shows where your allegiance lies. But you have to be cautious. There are risks with it because blind commitment without reassessment, it can lead to stagnation, it can lead to burnout, and it can lead to problems.
All right. And I just looked at the time. It is time to take a quick break for news, weather, traffic on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor today. So don't go away. We'll be back in 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery used to say. And I say peace in and peace out. We'll be right back. Don't go away with more Doctors in the House with myself, and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
we'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
My name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I am running for the United States House of Representatives in California's 41st District. As a veteran, I understand your rights. I served as a general medical officer for the United States with the Seabees. They build, they fight. As a physician, board certified OBGYN, I understand healthcare. I was in academic medicine, private practice, and I am retired Southern California Permanente physician. I understand healthcare policy, and I will make sure you have adequate healthcare. Please help me go to Capitol Hill and fight for you. As a mother, I understand your needs, and I will be there for you. Please visit my website at Dr. Tate for Congress. That is DrTateForCongress. Learn more about me. Consider making a donation to my campaign. Support me so that I can support you. Help elect me. You need me in Congress because I know the needs of the common day American. Help me help you. My name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I approve this message.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuning in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel, Central, for all 1,501 shows. If you missed my celebration show yesterday with the amazing Michael Learned, she was the matriarch in the Waltons. You remember the Waltons, Dr. Tiffany. And she was also 50 years later, the grandmother of Jeffrey Dahmer in the Netflix special that just hit 1 billion views. She was so sweet and so kind and so complimentary. And I just fell in love with her. And so if you missed that, resubscribe, give me the finger, this one, not the other one, and you'll get to hear that great interview. All right. And you're tuned into Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Great. Hearing just a little feedback again. If you could lower your volume, that would be awesome. And what are we talking about? The 3 C's, 2 of which, well, I just adopted one. I qualified the one, but that third one I still not crazy about. But we're talking about convenience, which I like, commitment, and compromise. So let's talk about maybe the solutions, or what is helpful about any of these, since we're in the second half of the show.
Well, I want to ask you, you choose do you choose, when it comes to convenience versus commitment, do you choose what's easy or what's worth it?
Well, if it's not easy, it's not worth it. Now, we will definitely disagree on this one, because in my BS, my belief system, relationships don't have to be that hard. Hard. Okay. They don't have to be that difficult. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But the whole, it takes so much work to be in a relationship, and relationship takes so much work. And I gotta say, if you're with someone that it takes that much work, you might want to relook at that person, and not to blame them, but is there a match? When we're dating, this is what I'm looking for. If I see this and this, they're just not the right match. They're not a bad person. They're just not meant to be the next chapter in my book of romance. And that, to me, is really, you said, are you looking for convenience or?
Convenience versus commitment. So say, for instance,
you used another word.
I said, do you choose what's easy or what's worth it?
Well, the two are not mutually exclusive. You can have something that's worth it and extremely difficult, or something that's worth it and with ease. So
I agree. And that's why I challenged you, because sometimes true commitment requires a little bit of discomfort. Now, it shouldn't be painful, but so say, for instance, do you go on a double date while you're in a committed relationship?
Well, I haven't been in a committed relationship for a long time,
say,
so
for instance,
I don't.
you were
I
in
know,
a committed
single date,
relationship.
double date. I haven't been on a single date. I can't. Well, I had one, and I'll give you a perfect example. Last date, I'm now on. I've had 37 first dates, 2 second dates, 1 third date, 1 fourth date. And
but I'm giving you an example.
I
if
know,
you are in a committed relationship, do you date?
Oh, well, I don't know that. But the whole, how much compromise, if you know that it drives you crazy, and I'm not perfect, but I know at least that it drives me crazy when someone says, I will get back to you this afternoon, and then they don't. And then the next day they give you the reasons why they didn't get to it. And then they'll say, and I'll get back to you another time. And then they don't. That's twice. and give you a bunch of reasons, okay, and then say, I'll get back to you. At that point, I say, thank you very much. Good luck. This is not a match, right? Bless you, and the horse that you can't, no, bless you, and have a great life. But I know that that's not a match for me because it's not easy. That is you dang right. I want convenient in terms of I'm not in a state of constant button pushing, chip on my shoulder, leave my goat to get a state of piss offedness. That's ridiculous. Why would I be with someone who does that on a consistent basis?
Mm-hmm. I completely understand.
She doesn't agree, but she completely
No,
understands.
I actually agree. I agree.
Okay.
But I have a lot of patience, so I have that P word.
Yeah, don't have that at all. And very proud of it, as you can see. Don't have no regrets that way. I get a lot done, and I suffer no fools, and I surround myself with people who do what they say they're gonna do. and that's why I get a lot done. That's why I have 8 jobs. And I don't blame people for not being what I want them to be. Okay, that's a really important distinction. I was going to say extinction. Important distinction to make is that it's okay for me to have the belief systems that I have, but it's not okay for me to put those on you. You be whatever you are. You be whatever you naturally are
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with. I think that's so important to understand that the trouble doesn't come when someone's different. The trouble comes is when you force them or ask them or hope that they will conform. There's the C
Mm-hmm.
word that I really don't like, is asking someone to conform to what you want. No one has the right
Absolutely.
for that. Oh, will you agree
Absolutely.
again?
I actually agree with you because I feel this way. If someone is in a committed relationship and they don't necessarily know how to commit because they are emotionally unavailable, perhaps they should not be in a committed relationship. If that's not their understanding in that committed relationship. Because if one person is being committed and the other person is not, they are emotionally cheating or they are not necessarily where they need to be. And the art of compromise is not there, and they are failing to communicate, and they don't even want to recognize that. And so when it comes to the healthy boundaries, one person has boundaries, the other person has their own boundaries, and yes, they're definitely mismatched. And so when it comes to where do you draw the line, you don't have to necessarily draw the line. You be you, boo. If that's what you want to do and you don't want to make compromises or concessions, it is what it is at this point. And I think it's imperative that people realize where you are. If you're in a relationship with somebody who does not want to call, who does not want to text, who does not want to prioritize you, they are actually showing you where you stand and that you are not a priority. And it is important for you to recognize it. And they are breadcrumbing you and they are showing you where you are in their life.
I'm going to go the other side. I agree with that. However, from my own personal experience, I'm going to bag on myself for a second. I was asked when I was married um, what the issue was. I said he's not emotionally available. And the person, very wise, said to me, when did you figure out he was emotionally available? after the first year, after the first kid, I said, oh no, I knew he was emotionally available while we were dating. And she looked at me and said, well, then who really is more emotionally unavailable? And boom, I was busted. If I knew he was emotionally unavailable and I still chose him, doesn't that say that I was emotionally unavailable, therefore I attracted, number one, another emotionally available person? And what safer way to remain emotionally unavailable than to choose someone who is also emotionally unavailable? And that went, and I understood my role. And really, that expression, you notice something in someone else, but you've got a giant something in your own eye, whatever that
Yeah, the
biblical
plank in your own eye.
yeah,
And a lot
yeah.
of times we mistake convenience for a real relationship, or a situationship for a real relationship. And a situationship is a romantic or a sexual relationship that isn't clearly defined. It lives in the gray area, not quite dating, not just friends, but definitely something. It might feel safe, convenient, or low pressure. But you have to ask yourself, are you compromising what you truly want, or are you choosing convenience over clarity? And are you brave enough to seek real commitment?
So that's the friends with benefit question, which I could never understand how you could have sex without some kind of feeling, which is commitment to that person. Um, since I've been to Vegas, I understand it more, that it's possible, but there really is, I think, especially for women, still a disconnect, between Mr. Right and Mr. Right now, or Miss Right or Miss Right now. It is I think that's what hits me when you're talking about, is it a relation, is it a union of convenience, or is it a union of commitment? That to me explains the difference. Are you doing this just because it feels comfortable, even though it's dysfunctional, right? But it feels comfortable, so you continue going to the tractor for milk. That's what I did with my husband, constantly asking for confirmation that he loved me, that he wanted to be married. And 6 times or 5 times, he would not say, I want to be married to you, I love you, I think you're hot. He never would say that, but he didn't not say it. And in my brokenness, I saw that as a good thing. So obviously my whole construct around commitment and understanding my value in a relationship was broken. And it wasn't until I healed that and understood that I am worthy, I am desirable, I am lovable, loving, and loved, could I then say, you know what, this is really isn't working, not because of how you feel, but because of how I feel. And there's the $1,000,000 question. How do you feel in
Now, I
this
have a
relationship?
question.
Okay.
Would he compliment like other women, or critique like the beauty of other women, and then make you like a side note like, "Oh yeah, you look good too"?
He would introduce me to his friends as obese behind my back. And so then when I met them, they would say, you're not obese, right? And I was maybe 1 or 2 sizes more than I am now, which it wouldn't fall under that purview or definition.
Yeah, not that criteria.
Right, but I picked a man who did not find me desirable. And the bottom line from the therapist that we went to as a last straw, for 3 years, he said to him, if you want to stay married, you're going to have to touch her. So that was painful, but I chose a man who was not attracted to me on purpose because I believed what my mom had said to me for 17 years while I was in the house, that I was fat and ugly. And I ingrained that. So it really didn't matter how he felt about other women. It was I attracted a man who would continue the comfortable dysfunctional message that I was not good enough.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize and not compromise that no matter who you are, you don't need to be in a relationship in which you are tolerated. You deserve and you should be, and I'm going to say should, even though we try not to say you shouldn't be shitting on yourself. I, as a physician, I am prescribing a relationship in which you are loved for who you are, despite your size, despite your income. I am prescribing a relationship in which you are loved for who you are, despite your position, despite the job you hold, because it is important to have that. And I believe that whoever you are with, if they wanted to, they would. And if you wanted more, it's time for you to seek it. And if you want to work it out with whomever you're with, talk to them and ask them for it. And if they don't want to give it to you, consider moving on, because I was always taught that there are more fish in the sea.
And I half agree with that only because, as you often say, you can't do that for you. I can't do that for you. You have to love yourself enough first in order to ask for that. And most of the women that I coach don't love themselves. Therefore, they're not in a position to say talk to the hand because they haven't worked that out for themselves. So I agree with you. However, if you are with someone who treats you badly, I don't want you to continue to blame them. I want you to take a look at why you're still there, why you continue to attract jerks, why you say with some pride that you go into a room and you always seem to pick the guy that has the t-shirt on that says I'm a jerk, the best looking one there, or the one that acts like an asshole. You are attracting that because of where you are. And so it's not disagreeing with you, Dr. Tiffanie, but it's like an addendum to that. You can't really say you're treating me badly if inside you're treating yourself worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's important to remember that convenience in and of itself is not evil, but it
Thank
should
you.
not it should not lead our values. And compromise, it builds bridges. But do not compromise who you are in the process. And commitment is a challenge, but it gives life meaning, and it does help to establish the concrete building blocks of relationship. And the quality of your life often depends on what you're willing to compromise on. So we have to keep that in mind, and what you're not willing to compromise on. So be true to who you are and what you're committed to, no matter what.
Mhm. Yeah, I the thing that keeps me open to a relationship is I don't want to be committed to a bunch of cats and turquoise and gray hair piled on my head. So the commitment for me is allowing the possibility of sharing the rest of my life, the last quarter of my life with someone who likes similar things that we can enjoy together. And I think that if you're in the population and you're tired of dating, or you're tired of swipe or no swiping, is to keep your eye on the goal, which is, you know, that life is wonderful the way you've made it. I'm my own best friend. I love my life. And at the same time, I'm still open to the possibility that there is someone that can connect with me that will enhance the current experiences I have, instead of distract from that. And that's my bottom line. And my final word is, I want to remain positive in attracting someone who will make commitment easy and compromise easy and convenience easy. And I want it to feel convenient and not always a struggle and a fight. Final word? That was mine.
Absolutely. Final word. Remember that when it comes to the 3 C's, they require not only time, but transparency and selfless devotion, because it's needed in and for a true relationship, and trust as well, because you're taking a risk for any type of true friendship in a relationship. But remember, it's all worth the effort, because if you want a true friendship or a true relationship to evolve and develop, you have to evaluate and establish that time and that commitment.
Yeah. It's still, we'll see.
I'm going to pray for you.
Yeah. That's okay. I really don't want to be prayed for. I'm allergic to cats, so that's what's going to keep me dating. I'm allergic to cats. So thank you for joining us as usual. A very scintillating conversation about the 3 C's. Thanks for joining us on Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Remember, it is all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. As usual, a lot of fun and invigorating conversation with my co-host on Straight Talk, Dr. Tiffanie Tate. Now, take us out.
Go and have the best day ever.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Take back your life.